and nasty regions where nobody goes stands an ancient castle. Deep within this dank and uninviting place lives Burke.
Hello.
Overworked servant of the thing upstairs.
Burke, feed me.
But that's nothing compared to the horrors that lurk beneath the trapdoor. For there is always something down there, in the dark, waiting to come out.
Don't you open that trapdoor? You're a fool if you dare. Stay away from that trapdoor. 'Cause there's something down there.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Pathfinder Nostalgia. This episode we're looking at The Trapdoor from 1984 to 1986. The Trapdoor, a stop-motion animated television series created by the makers of Stop It and Tidy Up, which I covered previously. Go and check that video out, might be interesting. Now, these two shows share some similarities in the sort of design-wise, or like the art design-wise of, all art direction, I think it is. And they're done by the same production company. Terry Bryan is one that springs to mind. And it's pretty amazing, actually. So the Trapdoor actually came first before Stop and Tidy Up, which was their first production. It's stop-motion plasticine animation. Obviously, this is used stuff like for Wallace and Gromit, Creature Comforts. I think what Aardman are still using today with that new movie, Early Man, as well. They're still using plasticine animation as well, which is pretty interesting. And it's stood the test of time. This is sort of the earliest, I think, because this actually predates Wallace and Gromit. This does. I don't think it's done by. Well, it's not done by Aardman anyway. It's done by a small production company, and it follows the adventures of a caretaker called Burke, who's this blue blob, who's the main character, who speaks in a West Country accent, voiced by the brilliant Willie Rushton, who did some narration for some children's books back in the early 60s. They released on vinyl as well, and you can still get them. Some people might know what those books are, but in a lot of video time soon, I'll get to that at some point. But in the meantime, Billy Rushton actually is the highlight of The Trapdoor, I think, because his narration, the voice work he does is pretty amazing. Even without effects on it, it actually works, it does. You somehow get drawn into the character of Burke and the characters that surround him in this weird, sort of, like haunted world that they live in. And it's pretty interesting. So the sole premise goes that we have a caretaker, Burke, who looks after this. Is a caretaker of something called the Big Red Thing that lives in a castle up above. He's sort of maybe like a big fat slob that lives in a tower or something that he feeds every day, cleans, does everything from, and even bathes him, scrubs him, it's that sort of thing. And he has a few friends, like a big spider, I can't remember the name of it, and some skull called Boney. And then you've got this trapdoor. So with each every episode, Burke has to go on the trapdoor and get some supplies from there or something, But in doing so, there's always a little monster that somehow creeps out with a new sort of ability, I would say, and sort of causes havoc around the castle or in the sort of basement dungeon thing where Burke's always there all the time. And that's just the sort of adventure, really. And he does make a few acquaintances along the way. I think there's one called. Oh, I can't remember the name now. He's purplish. He's got like a teardrop for a head. It's pretty interesting. Well, yeah, that's sort of the routine of the show that's done for about 2 seasons. Pretty interesting. Now, one thing to mention is, at the end of each season, there's always there's actually a twist. Yeah, there's actually quite a twist. Like, you could say this predates M. Night Shyamalan. This does. I would say. Well, I'm sort of joking or doing it loosely, if you know what I mean. But at the end of the first series, Burke decides to pack up sticks and leave because he's sick and tired of the Red Thing. He's sick and tired of the creatures running amok in the castle that are released from the trapdoor, and he leaves. It's not until the credits end and that he pops back and say, "Hello, I'm back." Something like that. Like he never left. Like the credits roll and it's just in black, and he pops out the corner and does and breaks the fourth wall. He does. It's pretty interesting. And at the end of the second season, one of the monsters that he befriends actually goes after this creature thing that comes out, and I think it's the bit like another big thing, or the big red thing. It's like another one, like another monster that appeared earlier in the second season, but comes back in the last episode, and then he goes off to fights in the middle of the woods actually, and we presume that he's dead, like he got killed in battle. However, Esau pops out and said, "Hello, Burke," and he go, "You thought I was dead?" I think it was like that, or like if I was a goner. I think something like that. It's those twists at the end that sort of make it that's so interesting and work. It's a shame they never did a third season actually. I'm not too sure why, but I think one factor might be it could be the death of Willie Rushton. I would say that maybe not caused a third season to be commissioned. I mean, if it continued up until maybe it's into the 90s, I think if it's not for maybe a few more seasons, maybe about 2 or 3 seasons, its longevity will be amazing. But it's just. It's a product of the 80s, and sort of came and went, But it lasted for 2 seasons, not 1 season, so that's better. So, anyway, that's me babbling on about the trapdoor. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you for the next video.